Hi, sophomores. We really miss you guys. We're praying for you and just really proud of how hard you've been working. We had a presentation scheduled to offer some advising topics in April that obviously had to be canceled, but I put together some of the content in this video and I hope you find it helpful. All right, let's talk about standardized testing. The majority of students complete their standardized testing for college admissions during their junior year. So right now, during sophomore year, it's an ideal time to be thinking about how you would like to complete that process. You're actually well on your way. There are two major college entrance exams, as you probably know, the SAT and the ACT. Both are equally acceptable to colleges. So the question is, which one do you take and when? You've taken practice versions of the SAT 2 times. That was the PSAT in 9th grade and the PSAT in 10th grade. You'll actually take the PSAT one more time in the fall of your 11th grade year. You took the PACT test, the practice ACT test, earlier this year. And your sophomore year PSAT and your practice ACT exams from this year would have been mailed to your house a little bit before Christmas this year. Those scores are also loaded into your Naviance account. So these two practice experiences and scores offer you really valuable insights about how to proceed with your testing plan. First, think back to the experience of the test. Do you remember preferring one format of the test over the other? Now take a look at the scores. Using an official concordance table, you can determine which tests yielded the strongest results for you. If you scored higher on one testing type than the other, now you know what official test to register for and to do any preparation that you were planning to do. Now, it's actually really common for students to score very similarly on the two different test types. If that's the case, I still recommend that you choose one test, either the ACT or the SAT, to plan for and prepare for, and then only have a testing plan for that one test type during your junior year. Preparing for them both would be very time consuming, and you'll be busy during your junior year, doing a lot of things that are very interesting to you, and preparing for an additional test just won't make as much of an impact in your admissions profile as doing anything else that you could be doing with that time. So let's talk about a typical testing schedule. As I mentioned earlier, most students will complete their testing sequence during their junior year. The exact timing is going to depend on you. It'll depend on whether you decide to do any prep courses, when you have time to do those prep courses, and how you balance all of the other priorities that you have in your life. So here's one scenario that's common. You would take your first SAT during the spring of your junior year, maybe during the March administration. If you afterwards believe that you still could improve your score more, you could take it again in June. You could also do some test prep over the summer and register for the August administration. There's also an administration in October, which is typically the last administration that you can take and still get scores in for early college decision deadlines. So that scenario involved the SAT. Those dates would be very similar if you chose to take the ACT. Or you might be a student who knows you'll have a really heavy athletic schedule during the spring months, or you might be preparing for one or more AP exams in May. And if that's the case, you might benefit from shifting your testing plan a little earlier. You could take the ACT or the SAT for the first time in October of your junior year, and that would give you the rest of your junior year and even early fall of your senior year to take the test again if you wanted to. And then that would also give you time to potentially not be taking any standardized testing in the spring when you're doing your AP exams. Some of you might be looking for opportunities to do standardized testing preparation. I'm going to include a list of organizations locally that offer test prep. You can also find test prep opportunities that are for free and can be done online. And you might find that this time when we're staying home a lot might be a time that you can commit to doing some test preparation. You can do that through Khan Academy to prepare for the SATs, and you'll be able to log in through your College Board account, which links to your PSAT scores. You can also do online test prep through ACT Academy, and that's also a free test prep resource. Many of you are really ready to start investigating colleges and begin the process of discerning which colleges out there may make it onto the list that you apply for during your senior year. If you feel like you don't know where to start, I have a few suggestions for you. There are a few resources I really like that can help students enter in a few criteria that they know right now are going to be important to them, and through a search engine limit the number of colleges that they look into. Big Future through the College Board is one such tool. Students can enter a number of different factors that they're looking for and then see colleges that meet those criteria. That site will also give information about the application process, and then generally what the admissions profile is for students that apply there. In Naviance, we also have college search tools that are very helpful and offer some of the same characteristics. You can enter in your average test scores, you can enter in different factors that you're really interested in, and start seeing some of the colleges that might be a good fit for you. If you feel like you have just no idea where to start and really aren't sure even what you're looking for, I have a recommendation. Consider maybe planning over your spring break a virtual college tour of maybe 4 or 5 different school types that you look into and maybe visit virtually. And the types of schools that I would suggest are very diverse. You could look into a large public research institution and get a feel for what a school like that might offer. Look into a small private liberal arts school and compare those two. Try to understand what a school like that offers. And then maybe, if there's pros, what are the cons of a smaller school? And I talked with some of you who had really lovely plans during spring break to go tour a variety of colleges, and I'm just so sorry that you won't be able to do that. On the bright side, with the current crisis, colleges are doing just about everything possible to make their campuses accessible virtually to students that are interested in learning more about the education that they offer. So even though you won't be able to travel anywhere in the next little bit to visit colleges, you can actually do some pretty effective virtual college tours using a number of different online resources. I want to show you a few websites that offer virtual college tours. uvisit.com is a website that allows you to choose any number of colleges and select a virtual tour. As you can see here, you have a college guide who shows you around the campus. You can click on different sites of interest, and so you're able to get a lot of the information that a college admissions guide would share with you if you were there in person. These kinds of virtual tours are also available on many colleges' websites right now. When you visit an actual college campus, you learn a lot about the student culture by observing the students who are there on campus. You can see what's important to them, what the culture is like, what the vibe on campus is like. Although you can't really glean that from a virtual college tour, you can get some of that information by looking at the student newspaper, which are available on most websites. take a look at that and see what the culture is like, what students are talking about, and what seems to be important on campus. Another really valuable way that you can be getting to know more about colleges is by planning to attend the college visits that occur at Bear Creek during the fall. This last year, we had over 80 colleges visit Bear Creek either during lunch times or breaks, before school, after school, hoping to meet with students to talk about the merits of their academic program in their university. These visits are open to any Bear Creek Upper School student. We really suggest that seniors who know they're applying to that school take advantage of the opportunity to go to that meeting and meet the person who's very likely to be reading their application. But junior year is also a really important time to be taking advantage of that access that's coming right through the doors of your school, and learning what you can about those college opportunities during September and November, which are the really popular times to come. So if you've never come to one before, it's very easy. They typically meet in one of the conference rooms downstairs, and they have a presentation that they offer usually, and then ask for questions from students. So you can kind of hear what some of the seniors are asking, and that will be good training for you. But you can also ask any question that you might have about their college, or also just listen in and learn what you can from their presentation and what other students are offering. So that's just a great way to learn about lots of different types of colleges and start to get a sense of what you think you might be interested in applying to. Well, I was planning to talk to you about extracurricular activities and how to think about your summer. And that's still a really important topic, but I want to also be considerate of the fact that we are really in uncharted territory this semester with how the COVID-19 virus has affected our ability to do all of the things that we are normally doing. And so I know so many of you may be losing athletic seasons or opportunities to be part of leadership or clubs, things that were really important to you and that you wanted to include in your extracurricular resume. And I just want to encourage you that for one thing, students in America are all in the same boat. So none of you are really at a disadvantage. But also, this is an opportunity for creative thinking. I just encourage all of you to be thinking through how you can use this time to be developing yourselves in the same way that you would if you had been in school. And that means really prioritizing your academic growth as much as is possible and reasonable during this time. And then also thinking about how you will contribute to your community around you. That's a tough one for all of us right now because we're in our houses and we're not physically in the proximity of one another. But there are still many ways that we can be showing leadership and showing that we care about those around us. So I hope that you feel encouraged by that. That this is still, I think, a wonderful time for your personal growth, your leadership growth, and I'm excited actually to hear about the ways that you took care of one another and took care of the people in your family and your community, and were able to reach out. And I think those types of experiences, maybe even more than some of the things that we do during the normal school year, will be really interesting stories for you to tell in your college application. And a more practical piece of advice about your resume and your extracurricular activities, I would really suggest starting a resume right now if you haven't already done that. You'd be surprised how often students get to senior year when they're filling out their application and find that those freshman year and sophomore year activities are just a little fuzzier in their memory than they ever expected, and they can't remember exactly how many hours they spent doing this or that. And so you can really do your future self a favor by beginning a document now that records the activities that you're doing right now. And so that would include any community service, any athletics, any clubs, any private organizations or sports that you're involved with. Just keep track of those things so that you have an easy time putting together that information when senior year comes around. Now, I'd love to give you an overview of where this process goes after your sophomore year. As I said, right now is a great time to be thinking about your standardized testing plan that you'll implement in junior year, beginning to get a feel for the types of colleges you might be interested in looking into during your junior year, choosing courses really wisely, and challenging yourself next year academically, but also making sure that you have a balanced schedule that's going to allow you to be successful in all of the things that you have chosen to prioritize. And that means your extracurriculars as well as your academics. Additionally, you'll focus on building your leadership skills through the extracurriculars you're participating in. And then next year will be a really important time academically to really be building a profile that colleges will kind of be seeing as the most relevant academic data to help them understand what kind of a student you would be if invited to be at their campus. So next fall, you'll early on in the year have a presentation time with Mrs. Murray. And so she will lay out all of the things that you should be thinking about during your junior year. And then her time really will be directed to the seniors for a lot of the fall. After Christmas, you'll have the opportunity to be meeting one-on-one or as a family with Mrs. Murray to go through your college options. She has so much wisdom, and we'll be able to suggest some schools, hear about what you're interested in, and together help you build a list of schools. She'll check in about your SAT tests, what you're thinking about for your senior year, course schedule, and together you guys will do a lot of work on launching that application process. And then summer of your senior year, the applications will go live, and hopefully by the summer, by the time the fall starts, you have a pretty set list of schools that you've decided to apply to, and can begin that application process even as early as August 1st. So as much as you can do before senior year starts, that's just work that you don't have to do while you're also taking your classes at Bear Creek. Most schools that have an early application or early decision deadline have those deadlines set around November 1st, November 15th, even December 1st. So have that in mind as probably about when you'll be turning in your first set of college applications. For those schools, you would probably hear back around Christmas time. Many schools have application deadlines, the regular decision deadlines, into January and February. And then typically by March, you'll have heard back from all of the schools where you applied and have until May 1st to make your final decision. So obviously this isn't the last time that you'll hear the overview of that timeline, and I'll be here and Mrs. Murray will be here in your junior and senior year to make sure you're on track and to be a great resource for you. But I hope that that little description helps to give you a sense of what the next couple years look like in terms of college application planning. All right, that's all I've got for you today. We miss you guys, we love you guys, and hope to see you soon. Bye.